GM, everyone. We'll give it another minute as people trickle in here. Perfect time for us. Yeah, we'll get started in just a minute. Alrighty, let's kick things off with weekly governance call 15. Obviously, Tyler's not here today. I'm filling in. He will be surely missed, but I'll try to do my best Tyler impression. Today, just showing off some awesome artwork that was created by one of our community members, I think, Gray Machine. If not, I apologize. But anyway, I've been seeing so much art and so much creativity pouring into General and a few other channels these days. So just love seeing that, and hopefully can see a little bit more of it. I'm also sharing my screen, obviously on the Zoom. So if there is anything in the stage chat, feel free to interrupt, but I won't be monitoring that. As I just said, guest host, Fox McCloud. Most of you, I'm sure, have seen me around Discord. I'm on the product team and happy to be filling in for Tyler today. Agenda, same as always. We're going to review the recent proposals, current proposals, upcoming proposals, and then we'll open it up for some open discussion, Q&A, and just general governance conversations. Our weekly shout out to Never Was and Miss for running this amazing tracking tool, going over all the different proposals, where they are, how they're doing, things along those lines. Always feel free to check it out if you're looking for more information on how to do a deep dive on some of these proposals. A reminder on how our governance process works. This is a great little infographic that Miss made, so thank you to her. As a reminder, things start in the forum where we kind of post ideas, get some community feedback, good and bad, see how we want to change the idea, or if it's perfect, how to move on. We move into ideation. It's more of a formal draft in the ShapeShift community proposal, where this is where you're going to be posting in the forum. Again, getting a lot of feedback, but more of a actual vote of for versus against. And if we have more for votes, it moves forwards. If we have more down votes, we revisit the forum and continue to perfect the proposal. And then finally, of course, live voting. We create the proposal in Boardroom and actually vote on it, one vote per Fox. To reach quorum, it's 4 million Fox. Anything under 4 million is a soft quorum, where 70% of the votes are tallied as a no. So you need to have some pretty good positivity already if you're getting close to that 4 million. As we're about to see, we have a couple proposals that are well past 4 million and well into quorum. So I'm loving seeing all this community engagement. First one up, our newly elected Product Workstream leader, Diggy, with 6.32 million votes. Congratulations. Again, since I am on the Product Workstream, you just got elected to be my boss. So thank you so much. I've already been looking forward to working with you. Already have been working with you, and look forward to continuing to work with you. Diggy, if you have anything to add, feel free to hop up here, but I know this one's been very successful. Cool. We'll keep on marching on.
Sorry.
Nope, sorry. No, you're good, Diggy.
I was struggling with buttons. Hi, thank you, everybody. Super excited, and yeah, super excited for all of the stuff in front of us on the Product Workstream roadmap. Thank you. Bye.
Well said. Cool. Active proposals. This one is this might be the most popular proposal I've seen yet. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. 7.4 million votes in favor so far. 200 against. So we're well into quorum and well on the way to being passed. This is a proposal for 1 million worth of Fox RUNE to do a joint token swap with THORChain as well. And this will add a total of $4 million of liquidity because it'll be going both ways, which is super exciting. Willie posted this. Anything to throw at this, Willie?
I think you nailed it, Noah. Not much else to add other than the fact that if you check out this Fox RUNE pool right now on THORChain, it is live. So you can now trade Fox with any of the other chains that THORChain supports, including Binance Chain, Bitcoin, Litecoin. Pretty exciting. And yeah, this proposal will not only result in a $2 million swap or a $1 million swap of Fox for RUNE, but then both parties will be depositing the Fox and the RUNE into the liquidity pool, and then that will result in an additional $4 million of liquidity. So we'll have a pool with over $7 million of liquidity, which will put us, it looks like, in the top 10 pools on THORChain. So very exciting, and this is also similar to the proposal that passed recently for the Fox and Honey Treasury swap and joint LP. And just an update on that one, that was executed this morning. So this will be another interesting experiment that we can watch to see, how, as an alternative to liquidity mining, how we can instead swap our governance token with the tokens of other treasuries and then do this joint liquidity providing in which both protocols own the liquidity rather than renting it.
Yeah, that's
so
great
excited to see. Cool. Yeah.
Sorry,
thanks for the support on this one.
Great,
so far.
Super cool precedents, and hopefully we can start doing this with more DAOs and more protocols. Right now, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Willie, I think it's paying like something like 10, 11% on THORChain if you deposit Fox and or RUNE, which is an awesome yield without any sort of additional liquidity mining incentives. Also, will be very cool if you guys have been listening to any of the conversations surrounding Tokenomics, if one day we'll be able to help control liquidity to this pool along with many others. So it's great seeing all these different protocols and all these different DAOs kind of overlap. It'll be very interesting to see how we continue to leverage these. But yeah, very excited to see this passing with overwhelming support. Ideation in Boardroom is still out. Feels like it's been going on for a while like that. We've gotten pretty used to the alternative. I did share the slides in the general channel, so there is a link here for instructions if you don't know how to do that. But yeah, we'll keep you updated once we get Ideation back going. Or not us, but once Boardroom gets Ideation back going. All right, we got a few new forum posts, a couple different proposals in Ideation. First is for our Treasury Management and Diversification Committee, I think more well known now as TMDC, a little easier to say. And Danielle is leading that one up if you have anything to add.
Hey, I will just reiterate that this proposal will elect 5 members to the TMDC. Right now it's at requesting, 40 million Fox to fall under this purview of this committee. And yeah, it's got, I think last time I checked, there's about 15 yes votes in the ideation phase. And Willie, as you all know, is a machine and has already connected me with like 3 or 4 projects this week that are opportunities, for the DAO in general, but for this community this committee to evaluate and see if, we should move forward. Again, the benefits of this is that it can go to a quick committee vote rather than going through the full governance process. And then I think I just had an idea today because of all the opportunities that Willie has thrown our way already, that I might even play around with the number. So I'm going to post in that ideation thread probably today, well, probably tomorrow, just with some ideas. Oh my God, I already got another one for you, Danielle. All right, Willie. So yeah, there's just so much opportunity. So I think I might just tweak that number a bit before I move it into the full proposal, but I'll definitely post in the ideation thread. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you so much, Danielle. And yeah, can't emphasize enough how excited I am for this committee and all the cool things it's going to be doing for our treasury and just building our utility and hopefully, making Fox all the more popular. All right, we got a couple posts in draft as well. Either Giantkin or Kent, if either of you want to come up and talk about your proposals.
How you doing? Thanks for moderating, Mr. McLeod. This is awesome. So yeah, just a quick note on the draft proposal. Things were relatively well received, I would say, based on my initial draft. The only piece of feedback I think that I need to incorporate for the ideation phase, per Danielle's excellent suggestion, is to kind of just trim it up a little bit. I did a lot of just kind of like mental jamming in there and kind of like, just coming up with different ideas and free flowing. I'll make that a little bit more digestible, excuse me, for a proper community vote, should that take place, and get that up into ideation within the next few days and just move that along. But yeah, it was super validating and exciting to see so much positive feedback, and especially in light of all the sort of breakneck progress, like what Danielle just alluded to. It's like another day, another thing we could do. So like, okay, there's a lot to look at, a lot to vet, and a lot to consider and track. And so never a dull moment. But yeah, thank you guys.
And Kent, if that Danielle's proposal goes through as well, you're also going to be on that committee. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the synergy as you as the workstream leader, and then also helping direct that treasury. Very excited to see that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a natural fit if that works out. I think it'll just really there'll be a lot of really good interplay, and I'm excited to see like what happens when so many smart minds are working on the idea of treasury management. Should be interesting.
Very agreed. Giantkin, are you around?
I'm here.
Oh, hey, Giantkin, GM.
Hello. I put up my proposal. I had some small feedback. I changed a couple things, reposted it. I don't know if everybody got a chance to look at it. I'm going to try to put it on in the ideation tomorrow because I've had everybody saying now that it's okay.
Do you want to give a little TLDR for those who are not familiar with this proposal?
I'm the moderator for the server. This makes it so that I become the workstream leader. It's kind of a renewal, but also kind of a new setup for me. Basically, I'm doing the same thing, and then I have a position open under me that I have somebody in mind for it. So far, it's positive response. And then I have a small budget for the bots and some other things like the Zoom subscription and an extra person. It's roughly just a little bit more than it was before for the two people. So
awesome. Very exciting. Thanks for all that info. And yeah, if you are more curious, everyone feel free to check out that proposal. All right, continuing down, a few more posts. Either Gray Machine, Mr. Nerdhair, Diggy, or in a little while, feel free to come up to the stage and we can chat about these. If not, I can just go over them. Okay, perfect. Diggy.
Hi.
Talk to us about Alpha.
So far, the feedback's been pretty good, but I encourage all of you to go read the proposal in its current state. But the idea is to set up an alpha version of the new ShapeShift web app, which will be kind of like an early version before we push it to what we would consider like a private version of the web app. Alpha would be the version where we have analytics and where we can gather feedback from the community and basically test new features and products in their infancy and get them awesome before we push them into the private version of the web app. And that's the TLDR of the proposal.
Awesome. Thank you, Diggy. Yeah, I think Alpha will be essential. I love the compromise we came into from the previous proposal. So it'll be great having a more private version of ShapeShift and then this alpha version of ShapeShift, which will have a lot more information. And there's a lot of tools that Pendo offers to really make the experience using ShapeShift top notch, especially if you're a newcomer and trying to learn it. Yeah, so very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and also, sorry, just wanted to add that Mr. Nerd here is doing the deep dive into Pendo from a security perspective too. So we're still waiting to hear back from him.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm sure he will bring excellent information. If you guys saw, we got a nice shout out, or Mr. Nerdhair got a nice shout out from the Ichi team about what with OneFox, just with his due diligence and just overall knowledge and passion for all things security. So having him on our side is just such a huge advantage. I'll bring up his post for the responsible disclosure program because I don't see him in here. This is something we had at centralized ShapeShift, and it's something that pretty much any company should have. It's pretty much a way to, if someone, hacker, white hat or black hat, finds a bug or a way to take advantage of the system, to come forward, and it will allow us to correct it and not have the system be taken advantage. And there's, of course, bounties and rewards and things like that. I don't know all the specifics. I'm sure it will be slightly different than what we had at centralized ShapeShift, but kind of in the name of responsible disclosure, it is a very responsible thing to do and a great way for us to take care of our products. So take a look at that. Gray Machine, are you around today? I do not see you. He'll probably give an update on this next week. I honestly don't know what the status is of his video content. So if anyone has an update on that, feel free to jump on. And then Fox KPI options. These are going to be options based on KPI stands for key performance indicators, that you'll be able to tie these options to certain criteria in order to be, if you achieve X, you can receive Y. In a little while, or anyone else who's familiar with that, feel free to jump up as well and give more details, but that is just a high level view of that. Okay, moving on. Some old forum posts that are still up and still need some love. We have Crypto Meg and the customer support team regarding analytics. Mogi with the new Helpdesk, trying to get out a bounty to do that. And Zeknate, Z-E-C-Nate, sorry, I'm not familiar with how we pronounce that one, is looking to do like a weekly podcast video series, which is, I love the idea. I, for one, get lost in Discord all the time with all the content and all the conversations. So that'll be a great way to hopefully easily digest what's been going on. Looks like Meg's up here. Feel free to jump in, Meg.
Hey, thanks. So I just wanted to update on the reporting. So something that we've been working on the customer support workstream is piecing together what kind of data reports that the rest of the work streams and community will be interested in getting from us on a weekly/monthly basis. And Mark, SS Mark, for those of you who might know, have seen him in the channels, he's going to be in charge of this, and he's going to be scheduling our monthly support community call soon. And that's going to be happening in December. So we're technically not switching over to being completely decentralized until January 1st. But we're going to do kind of a transitional kind of run at our reporting. So we're going to have a community call. That date will be announced next week. And we'll be kind of doing our first trial run of reporting. So Mark's going to have a presentation that goes through customer interactions, things like reviews, collecting data about what people are complaining about and what they're praising us about, as well as just general stats and performance stats from our team. So just to give you guys a heads up, keep an eye out for the date. That'll be locked in next week for that. And we're just excited to be passing on this data, and definitely recommend, the product team, marketing and growth to attend that support call, and just keep an open mind for the time of the call, because the majority of our team functions out of the Philippines. So we have to either do like a really early call or a later call in the night. So keep an eye out for that. That's all.
Meg, while you're up here, anything to add about Mogi's Helpdesk proposal? Since I don't think I see him. Or Mogi, sorry, his hand's raised.
Actually, he just jumped up here, so
yeah,
I'll let him talk about that.
Hey, Mogi.
Hey, what's up? So my forum post for finding a web designer to redesign the help desk page is about a week old now. And today we actually found someone who is willing to take on this task. So that's good news. Now we just need the funding to be approved before we can move forward. For those that don't know, the proposal is asking that the designer be paid $3,000 in Fox. There hasn't been any negative feedback, so I do plan to have the post move to ideation before the end of the day. So if you want, you can keep an eye on the governance channel because I'll be posting a link to that once it gets posted. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's about it. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Mogi. Like I said, I think when you first posted this, really excited to see this. I know we've been talking about redesigning our help desk for quite some time, and it's about time that our help desk matches how good everything else in ShapeShift looks. So very excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, and Gray Machine, I see you just hopped in here. I didn't think you were in here before. Do you want to come up and chat about your video content status so far? If you're able to speak. Okay, no worries. If not, if you're able to talk later, feel free to hop up or raise your hand. And then is anyone familiar with this podcast video series weekly recap that could speak to it? Okay, fair enough. Hopefully we'll get more information about that next week. And that's all the active proposals and all the active conversations going on in the forum. So now we are just open to community discussion, anything about governance, about proposals, or just general Q&A. Feel free to raise your hand if you have anything to add, and I'll bring you on up. You guys always have so much fun conversations when Tyler's hosting. I hope it's not me. Howdy, John.
Hey, Fox, or Willie, you go first because you might be about to say what I'm about to say.
I wouldn't be surprised. First, I wanted to say, Fox, you've crushed it. So certainly not why. But I think, yeah, one thing that I wanted to mention was just this Tokenomics reactor vote. Right now, is that what you're going to say too, John?
You know it.
So yeah, for those of you that aren't aware, Fox is now in the running for a Tokenomics core reactor. We did a AMA with their community a while ago. And for those who missed it, it's another form of liquidity mining 2.0 or DeFi 2.0, basically evolutions beyond traditional liquidity mining 1.0. And it's very competitive. There's, I think, around 50 projects right now that are competing to get into, to be one of the next 5 projects selected to get a token reactor. And ShapeShift right now is number 4 as the last time I checked, which is also especially impressive because all of the other projects near the top also had rollover votes. They were competing in round 1, and votes from round 1 rolled over. So ShapeShift is the only project in the top 5 that doesn't have any rollover votes from round 1. We were starting from scratch, and it was it's just testament to this amazing community and our ability to coordinate. And also big props to Eric, who, if you guys haven't seen it, I'll post this link to this really awesome letter that he wrote to the Tokenomics community. Definitely read that if you haven't yet. And it was pretty cool too. He is also saying that if we get this reactor, he'll make sure there's a Toke RUNE pool added to THORChain, which is also a great carrot for THORChain community, or for the Toke community to vote for Fox. And also pledging to put a bounty up for a Tokenomics integration into the ShapeShift UI, which would be not only a great integration that would enable users to stake single assets single-sidedly and earn yield in Toke tokens, including Fox if we get a reactor. But again, it's just another really great carrot for the Toke community to vote for us. So shout out to Eric for doing that. And I'll share the letter so you guys can check it out yourself. Anything to add, John?
No, I think you covered that well. I guess the one thing just to add is that, it would be a good signal, perhaps, to send. Some other communities have done this with token reactors so far, where they actually pre-vote the token swap, because one of the things that's required to actually collateralize and set up the reactor is we'll need to do basically a 3 million Fox, 3 million worth of Fox token swap with them. I think this is probably better suited to go to the Treasury Committee rather than to do a proposal. So that's my current thinking. And actually, I'm glad Danielle's hopping up here because, yeah, my initial thought here is that this is something that should just go to the Treasury Committee maybe next week, and then we don't even need it to go through formal governance. But yeah, I'm curious on your thoughts on that, Danielle, now that you're up here.
This is, oh, sorry, puppy. This is one of the, like this and Faye and maybe Willie, you can kind of just give an overview of that one as well while you're up here. But yeah, both of those opportunities are kind of the reason I was alluding to maybe making our treasury budget just a little bit bigger at the beginning. So yeah, I agree that it should go to them. Sorry, guys. She's tiny.
Other problems.
Okay. So yes, I think this would be a good one to go to us. And I have mentioned the Faye one to the Tokenomics, the proposed Tokenomics committee. And then yeah, I think we should discuss this one. Do we have an additional call with this toke, or you said we already did it, Willie?
We don't have one scheduled right now, but we certainly could schedule another call with them, I think, if we wanted to.
Assuming Core 2.0 passes, we should definitely get another call.
100%. Yeah, if we do get a reactor, I think we should absolutely do an additional call with them. I think they would be very open to doing that, regardless.
And yeah, Willie, would you go over the Faye opportunity and just maybe promote? I think it's on Tuesday next week.
Yeah, my pleasure. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Faye, it is a stablecoin, and Tribe is the governance token for the DAO that powers Faye, and it's unique. So we were learning about the one Fox stable token earlier. Faye is another really interesting type of stablecoin, and they're very focused right now on DAO to DAO collaborations. So John shared this Twitter thread with me about some of the new things we're working on, and it was great timing because we have this call with them next week, and they're about to launch this new program next week as well, and ShapeShift has the opportunity to be in it. In the TLDR, it's another one of these DeFi 2.0, liquidity mining 2.0 concepts, basically, which is just such a big challenge for all DAOs because liquidity is so crucial. It's the lifeblood of any project. And liquidity mining, last year was the most effective way that these projects had figured out how to incentivize and achieve the liquidity they needed. And it's expensive though, and we all see that firsthand. Right now we're rewarding 15.8 million Fox over the next 4.5 months just to ensure that we have a healthy liquidity for Fox token. So the opportunity with Faye is really interesting, and basically it's a partnership with Faye and Ondo Finance that makes this possible. Basically, the way it works is that ShapeShift would transfer. The recommendation is $5 million of Fox tokens. We could do anywhere at least $1 million is the minimum. And then Faye will actually pair $5 million of Faye from their treasury because they have quite a bit of Faye and deposit it into a pool on Uniswap V2. Then they will also reward this pool with 10,000 Tribe tokens per week per $1 million of liquidity in the pool. And to start off, there will be $10 million of liquidity if we do a $5 million swap. So 100K worth of Tribe per week. Tribe, when I checked earlier today, was $1.33. So healthy rewards, it's about 133K of Tribe rewards per week at that estimated liquidity and at the current Tribe price. And they would do that for 6 months. And then after 6 months, instead of just ripping liquidity out, if we decide not to continue, then the default is that the liquidity would be removed in tranches rather than all at once. And the Fox from the pool would be returned to the ShapeShiftDAO treasury. And Faye, as I understand, will bear any of the impermanent loss that happens here. And actually, I still wanted to get more clarity. I followed up with a question around that and haven't gotten the answer on that yet, but perfect type of question for the TMD committee and for the community to dive into when we have them on this call next week. There is a cost for this. In total, it would cost $100,000 of this. And I asked also if this would be 100K of Fox or Faye, and I haven't gotten clarity on that yet. But apparently, I think it would just be in Fox, basically, and it would just be part of the pool, part of what we deposit into the pool. All right, I
And
thought
how
I heard
does-
someone talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does Tribe fit into the Fey ecosystem? Sorry if I missed that.
So Tribe is Fey's governance token. So Tribe is their Fox basically, and yeah, in order to get this Fey out of their treasury, that's a Tribe governance that approves that.
Anyone else have any other questions about this?
If it didn't make sense immediately, don't worry. We can go into more detail, and I think Danielle, is there going to be a call on Friday with the Team and D committee to discuss this?
Yeah, I posted something in the public tokenomics channel to start the discussion, and yeah, we'll see where that goes tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll just add on that like a lot of these opportunities that we're talking about, whether it's honestly what we're already doing with Olympus bonds, Tokemak, this with this Fey opportunity, even these dual liquidity provisioning, they're all basically some form of this whole DeFi 2.0 concept where the DAO in one way or another either owning or controlling more and more of the liquidity. And these are the type of things that hopefully should add that much more liquidity to the Fox ecosystem. And as a result, hopefully allow us to eventually tamper off liquidity mining rewards, which obviously is basically that mercenary liquidity that us and many other projects are dependent on. So I think trying out a bunch of these things and getting various ideas of what works and what doesn't, and just getting more and more of that kind of protocol owned value and liquidity is a really, really healthy thing for Fox and the ShapeShiftDAO community moving forward. The more of that we have, the better place, the more stable place we're going to be as things move forward. So I'm just really excited for a lot of these things, and it is all moving so fast. So don't feel bad if you feel a little overwhelmed by how much of it's happening so quickly. But this is the big advantage of us being a DAO, is just that we can actually act on these. We can be on the forefront of the real cutting edge of this stuff going on well before others really understand it, and it's opening up all sorts of worlds of opportunity for us, which is just really awesome to see.
Obviously, it's up to the community, and it still might be too early to tell. But do you think, with the success of all these various DeFi 2.0 protocols that we're integrating, is it possible that we might not even need a third round of liquidity mining?
It's a really good question, Fox. I don't have an answer for it. I think that we need more info. We need more of these programs to keep going and to see how they do. Like if it was today, my current recommendation would be that we still would need further liquidity mining, but that we could reduce it. So I think I don't know if we'll get to the point where like we get to February and we're like, hey, we don't need it at all, just turn it off. But I think there's a very good chance that we could significantly reduce it, like maybe as much as 50 or 75% from current emissions. And that in and of itself would be a huge win. But maybe there is a world where we don't do it again. I mean, ultimately, that's a community decision. So I think we all just need to be paying attention to that and deciding what we think is best.
That was definitely
Especially-
something like Willie and I brought up as one of the benefits of these discussions that we were having yesterday. And it's cool that we have until we have until February to make that decision. But yeah, that was definitely something on our minds. So I'm glad you're thinking about it as well, Fox.
Same. I definitely think it's a good goal. And, if we were to get this Fox token reactor, that would be the type of thing that would really, really help, because Alchemix, for their token reactor, they're getting an estimated $4.5 million in token rewards, or being incentivized for single-sided Alchemix deposits. And you can typically incentivize less if you're just incentivizing single-sided deposits that aren't subject to impermanent loss than if you're incentivizing like Pool 2, for instance. So I am definitely optimistic with at the rate that things are going, that by February we might be in a position to not continue liquidity mining, but I think at the very least be able to drastically reduce it in a way that does not mean that Fox token holders can't still get really good yield, just in a way that it's not necessarily Fox that we're having to pay for that. And potentially, because the impermanent loss could be mitigated, we could also incentivize it less, and still everyone would be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know, Ryan, you said that half jokingly in the stage chat. Everyone loves getting paid for liquidity pools, but it's not saying yield's going away. It just is going to change. Like if you're providing Toke or Fox and their reactor, you'll be receiving Toke as reward. Obviously, in the RUNE Fox pool, you're receiving Fox and RUNE as a reward. So there are still, and with Ichi, if you're doing, the one Fox, you're receiving Ichi as a reward. So it's not so much that rewards and yield is stopping. It's just now it's hopefully coming from third-party sources as opposed to coming from the DAO.
Yeah, on that same thing, and that was a great point, Fox. I think it is really important to Giantkin's kind of joking thing is that it's not just about getting liquidity for the ecosystem. That is one of the goals of liquidity mining, but it is providing useful ways for people to stake and get yield on their Fox and do useful things with it. But I think basically all these things should lead to ways to do that are more sustainable, and that's the hope. And then we should need less liquidity mining rewards long term. I also think that this goes hand in hand with hopefully something that, like, if Kent gets elected to workstream leader, the Tokenomics workstream is really looking at, which is what should the rewards program look like? I know I'm still really bullish on this concept of SFox, staked Fox, and things that we could do with that. And to the degree that we have better things that people can do with their Fox that are ultimately just more sustainable, that is ultimately what will drive better long-term value, and it will make things like liquidity mining rewards far less necessary. I mean, my personal goals, I would like to see us at minimum probably hopefully cut liquidity mining rewards by another third, but a better aggressive target is more like 50 or 75%. And then the ultimate aggressive target would be to cut it to nothing. But I'm trying not to jump too far ahead in the future because we still got lots of months of data here to go. And some of that might be market-based too, depending on what the crypto markets as a whole look like 3 months from now. That could also change our decisions.
Totally agree. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well said. So yeah, I think something else that will help understand this Fox fake concept too, we can move on, but we did a calculation just to see what is the cost per $1 of liquidity per day. And we did it for the current Fox Farm round 2, and then for this Fox Fade pool. And as you can see, the Fox Fade pool is like 22 times more efficient in terms of the cost to the ShapeShiftDAO. And that's before you factor in the tribe rewards as well as the LP fees that would also go to ShapeShiftDAO. I didn't mention that, but all of the trading fees from that $10 million of liquidity would go to the ShapeShiftDAO. So when you actually factor that in, then it becomes actually negative cost per dollar of liquidity per day, where the DAO is actually basically getting paid. It's earning more than it's spending, and it's getting this liquidity. So pretty freaking amazing, and just really cool to see. I mean, this was just like so awesome because I wrote an article last year about liquidity mining because I was so fascinated by it. And it was at the time when it was DeFi summer, so all these new projects were popping up, and they were not necessarily audited, but you could get quadruple digit yield if you jumped in and if you provided liquidity. And a lot of people, rightfully so, were skeptical, and people said, "Oh, that's just a Ponzi. That's not going to be sustainable." And I really believe that this is actually, it makes sense. It's effective. This is, as a project, you need liquidity, and you want to be decentralized. You want to be a DAO. You need to distribute your tokens to a community. Liquidity mining is actually a pretty brilliant way to do that, in which you can both get the liquidity that your project needs while also distributing this token that you've created, basically need to add value to, but that you've just created to your community to achieve that. And these governance tokens have value because these projects are building incredible and disruptive things, rebuilding the future of finance on chain. And I have so much conviction in that I was bullish on liquidity mining, but I also knew, I said, this is going to be a sustainable thing until the next evolution comes out. Like, it's silly to think that, oh, we've cracked the code and this is where it ends. Just the pace of innovation in this space is so rapid. So it's just really amazing to see how far we've come just in 1 year. And at this rate, it seems like every week at least I hear about one incredible new evolution to just standard liquidity mining. And I'm really excited that we're in a position to experiment with a lot of these on the cutting edge. I think it's great for us to learn. I think a lot of these are going to prove to be more effective than liquidity mining 1.0. And it's just great. It's great exposure for the DAO, and it's a great way for us to build relationships with these other awesome and aligned communities, many of which we may end up providing an interface for in the near future.
You heard it here first. Willie is bullish on DeFi. Who would have thought? Awesome. Anything else to add? Oh, Josh, welcome to the stage. What's going on?
Hey, well, I was kind of waiting for that conversation to reach its natural conclusion. I just wanted to give a little update on the launch scheduled for next week and the bounty and just the engineering work there. But seemed like I'll just pause and see if that conversation about DeFi has anything more to it first.
I think you're good to go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we're just to update for the community here that we're excited about the functionality that we're building. And it is being most of it. Let's see. Well, yeah, most of it is being tested right now. The 0x trading is being tested. The wallet connections and Ethereum, Bitcoins, and ERC20s, sends, receives. It's not all working perfectly yet, but that's okay. The target is next week. And the main thing I wanted to update everyone on here is that we are going to target a soft launch. And what I mean by a soft launch is that our growth and marketing team is not going to shout it from the rooftops. Eric's not going to tweet it. And we don't want to attract a bunch of attention to it on the 18th. With the push to get all these features in, it's just not going to be as clean as we would like it to be for a bunch of first impressions. For all of us here on the 18th, our plan is to open it up, and we're going to ask everyone here, all of us friendly foxes, to use it as much as you can. Hit it, like try to break it. Essentially, that's going to be the call to the community. But we don't want to shout it out to everybody outside the community, right? Our products are used by lots of people that do not join these calls every week, that some of them don't even know that this community exists still, right? So I just wanted to give that advance notice to everybody and see if you have any questions about that.
That's a great update, and I've already done a little testing myself, and I'm just so excited for next week. And just huge shout out to you, Josh, and the entire engineering team. You guys are doing some great heads down work right now.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'll take all that and pass it on down to the team. There's lots of them in the audience here. Elmut, I see Ryan KK. I saw Adam earlier. I think DeFi's here. Highlander has worked on this, so the credit goes pretty far and wide here for this. Then the last piece I want to say too, for those who are unfamiliar with how these software release cycles go, that will go live with this functionality. We then, very typical, and it's not just in ShapeShift, that the engineering team is then going to spend some time polishing, right? Fixing other deeper bugs and just polishing and making the UX better. So we won't be working on, it's not like we're going to finish this on the 18th and start working on a next set of features the following day. We take time to polish things up, and then as you work, you figure out better ways to do things. And right now, instead of going back and improving the way that we did it, we're continuing to march forward, because what we're building is working and it's solid, but we will then want to go back and make some things better too. So just know that that's typically what you'll see, and this cycle is going to be no different than that.
Yeah, for anyone not familiar with this is what we would often refer to in product land as a soft launch, meaning that we put it up, it's in production, people can use it, but like Josh is saying, we're not trying to go too hard marketing it yet, because we want to make sure it's fully ready for prime time. So we're going to have to kind of reimagine a little bit what a soft launch looks like in DAO land, because there's really no way
True.
to put something up and not have the community at least be aware. But it's kind of like an internal DAO launch of like, we want it up, we want our community members to be ready to use it, but we don't necessarily want to go crazy bringing in new people from the outside just yet. But hopefully within a week or two after that launch, we'll be more comfortable doing that, depending on the state of things and what bugs are looking like and how much more hardening we need to do. But I'm sure the engineering workstream and the product workstream will give us a better sense of that, a few weeks into that process.
And it's so exciting that pretty much the entire DAO and community gets to be internal testers. So please, as Josh was saying, try to break it, give feedback. you are now part of this community and you can help make ShapeShift and our entire DAO stronger and better. So looking forward to seeing how this soft launch plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Josh. Since we're, I saw, let's see, Gray Machine posted this in the, for those of you on Zoom, posted the video content post. So those of you who were looking for an update for that, feel free to click that link. It's in the stage chat. I'm taking a look at it right now in the Zoom, if any of you are on it. Looks like a pretty comprehensive and great report. I have not had a chance to read this over yet, but Gray Machine, thank you again for all you do. That Tokenomics reactor POAP looks so cool, and I, for one, cannot wait to get that. So thanks again, and everyone give that a look, and feel free to share any feedback. Besides that, do we have anything else we want to cover this governance call?
Yeah. Oh, there's Kirk. Never mind. You go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, just a small teaser. As you all know, in our DAO, a few weeks ago, I presented something to all of you called THORChain, with the hope of soliciting initial feedback of the idea. So far, all the initial feedback for the idea has been positive, and that has encouraged me to start working towards a governance vote to make it happen. So it's still a couple weeks out, but I'll be preparing a post that describes a brand new work stream for the ShapeShiftDAO. And I look forward to reading all of your feedback when you see the initial draft and help me move it towards an official vote for the ShapeShiftDAO.
So cool. Thank you for sharing that update, Perklin. And I think it's so cool that this can kind of be built and become its own work stream and have this amazing chain be created, all while the DAO is still doing a million other things. This is exactly what I know a lot of centralized shapeshifters envisioned when we made the decision to go to a DAO, is the ability to do 1,000 things all at once and move in multiple directions and be this productive and this efficient. So very excited to see that come to fruition so quickly, Perklin. Great job.
You bring up a great point, Mr. McLeod. I don't know how many times I've been in much larger companies and some employee has an amazing idea. They pitch it to their higher ups, and the higher ups say, well, we just don't have the time to do that. In a DAO world, these ideas, if they gather a following, they can grow on their own. And I think that's so unique to this new style of working, and I'm excited to help pioneer it.
Yeah, I'll just add on a little bit to that. And I, like everyone else, I'm very excited for this THORChain initiative to move forward, hopefully. Just that Michael and I were in Lisbon this last week for the Cosmoverse conference, and we did talk with some people, and there were already a number of people, at least in the Cosmos community, that had already heard about it, were interested to potentially get involved and help. Nothing that I want to talk too in detail about now, but hopefully we'll have more news on that by the time Michael's proposal comes out. But just that there was already a little bit of a buzz around it, and I think people are starting to get excited about it. So that was really great to see.
That's it for me.
Thanks again, Perklin. All right, last call. Anyone else have any topic? Nothing is off limits that they want to discuss.
Just want to make a little call out, just that, there's a lot going on, and new ideas coming up, and I'm seeing new people, either from other communities that we're talking to or just on their own, finding out about ShapeShift and joining our community every day. Just welcoming everyone to our community and encouraging you all to get involved in some way. There's a lot of active opportunities to do so. You can make governance proposals yourself if you've got an idea, or if kind of like a lot of the things we talked about on the call, if you see an opportunity to partner with another project or a cool integration, bring it up with the community, talk about it. A lot of these ideas start just with community members noticing something and talking about it. So please feel free to do that. Anyone can contribute. You don't have to, it doesn't matter whether you've been here one day or many months. You're all able to do it. So We already have such a spirit of that in our Fox community, and just want to see that keep growing.
Huge +1. Well said, John. Yeah, just have a conversation with someone in the general channel or any other channel. It's amazing. People that were strangers to me a couple months ago are now people I'm interacting with every day, and I'm seeing the amazing things that they're contributing to. So I know at first it might be a little scary or a little overwhelming, but that first step's the hardest. But once you jump in, man, is it a fun ride. So yeah, welcome to all. Thank you for saying that, John. All right, with that, I'm going to bring up Lo-Fi Beats back. Thank you all for an amazing community call. Same time next week. Tyler will be back. And yeah, see you all around. Let's DAO it.